Good evening and a happy Thursday to everybody from Joliet, Illinois. We're at the University of St. Francis tonight inside the Pat Sullivan Center for today's CCAC volleyball action. It's St. Francis taking on Roosevelt University, and the Saints look to improve to 3-0 in conference play. Terry Bonadonna with you. I'll be on the call for today's 3 to 5 sets of volleyball action. If the Saints have their way, it'll be a quick 3, as it was on Tuesday when they defeated Calumet College of St. Joseph in straight sets. Close match on Tuesday night. Roosevelt so far this year has struggled. They are 0-1 in conference play. They have not yet won a match overall this season, 0 for 10, and they have been swept in 3 straight sets in 8 of their 10 matches this year. So a chance for St. Francis to improve to 3-0. Roosevelt's trying to pull off the upset today, and they were able a year ago, almost a year ago to the day, to take St. Francis down to the wire in a 5-set match. So this is a team that's certainly capable of making a run. We'll see if they have it in them today. Roosevelt is out on the floor wearing black. St. Francis on the right side of your screen in brown to start today's match out. And Zoe Hutchinson, the freshman setter from Garden Grove, California, gets the serve to get us started today. And we are underway. Hutchinson to the back line, and Desiree Anderson for St. Francis. This is Gabriela Oliveira slicing it across and out of bounds. The Lakers strike first. Starting lineup today, Alyssa Stilley for Roosevelt, Victoria Marashiva, Krista Norton, Logan Cofield, Jessa Henry, and Zoe Hutchinson. Veva Blistrabas is the libero wearing green for the Lakers. Stephanie Woods is blocked. Saints keep it alive. Anderson pushes it across with 2 hands. Here's a strike inbounds from Jessa Henry. And the senior setter picks up her first kill of the night. Henry entered play today with 19 kills on the season, no 99 percentage. A rare strike from the setter. Henry is second on the team in assists. This one on the service error goes to St. Francis, so Hutchinson's run comes to a close at 2 points, and the Fighting Saints get their first point. And now their first serve of the night. It'll be Leah Talley who gets the serve for the Fighting Saints. Talley comes in to serve. Give you the starting lineup in just a moment. There's Cofield, saved by Talley. Sipple sets for Anderson. Two-handed, got it down, inbounds. We're tied at 2. Starters for the Saints today. Nothing out of the ordinary for them. Desiree Anderson is in the lineup along with Peyton Baird. Kaylee Sipple, Cadence Woodrich, Stephanie Woods, and Gabriela Oliveira. Hannah Monfrey is the white-clad libero today. That's Cofield. That's Sipple. And Kaylee Sipple is not able to get it down. Not quite yet, but it is a point to St. Francis. Thought Sipple was going to drop that one in there. Roosevelt kept it alive. Nice defense from the Lakers. The offense needs a little work on that particular play. Knocked out of bounds. Saints take their first lead of the night with 3 consecutive points. Freshman Talley serves another. Hutchinson for Alyssa Stilley. Here's Sipple for Woods. A block at the net by the Saints. Roosevelt punches it over to the back line. Baird can't keep it in bounds. She had a free opportunity right there. Nobody guarding the back line for Roosevelt on a play that kind of got away from them a little bit, but couldn't finesse it inbounds. Out by inches, and enough to tie this score up. 3-all, as the serve belongs to Roosevelt and Emily DeBleecourt. Chance for Woods. Stephanie Woods had a big game on Tuesday night against Calumet St. Joe's. There's a block from Woods and Anderson, but out of bounds. And Roosevelt takes the point and the lead. Couple of lead changes already in this one. The two teams have traded early runs. Just 7 points into the match. Stephanie Woods slices it out of bounds. Saints struggling on the attack early on. Quite a few unforced errors have led to the early Lakers lead. 5-3 now. And DeBleecourt gets to serve again. Junior transfer from the College of DuPage. sets us up. Here's Anderson soaring high and throwing it down. Desiree Anderson picks up a much-needed kill for St. Francis. 4 serving 5 here. The Saints cut it to 1. Stephanie Woods, the 5th-year senior, ready for the serve. It's not a good one, right into the net. So each team has committed an error on a serve. Roosevelt's lead is back to 2, matching their biggest. And here's Alyssa Stilley to serve. Stilley, the leading scorer this season for Roosevelt. Sipple to Anderson, a little bit behind her, blocked at the net. Kept alive by the Saints. Baird to the back line. The ball tipped at the net. And Sipple gets it over. Hutchinson sets for Henry, who whacks it out of bounds. Jessa Henry a little bit too strong on that one. Saints again within 1. Abby Labb comes on to serve. Hutchinson for Henry again. Played by the Saints on the defensive end. Anderson looking for another kill. Can't get it. A good dig from Hutchinson. Tipped at the net and down. That point goes to Victoria Marashiva. Roosevelt keeps their early lead. They've held it for most of the set so far. Marashiva coming off of a big night. She had 12 kills in 3 sets in the conference opening loss to Judson on Tuesday. Henry right into the net. Both teams having a little trouble with the serves. Just 13 points into this game. We've already had 3 serving errors. 2 on Roosevelt, 1 on St. Francis. None of them belong to Desiree Anderson. We'll try to get this one off cleanly. She does. And she gets a point out of it. Little mishandle by the Lakers defensively. That ties us up at 7. Third time we've been tied today. It was 2-2, 4-4, and now 7-all. Into the rafters, still playable. They need to get it over on this hit, and Olivia Adams does just that. There's a point for St. Francis. Cadence Woodrich puts it down for her first kill of the night, and the Saints reclaim the lead. They were up briefly early on. Have not led by more than 1. This is their second advantage of the game. Tapped over by Nicole Darren. Here's Oliveira for the Saints. Oliveira throws it down for the point, just out of the reach of Lestrabas. St. Francis on a 4-0 run, and a timeout is called by Roosevelt. 5th-year head coach Nicasio Paquis calls his team over to the sideline. Roosevelt got off to a hot start today, and they've done that before. They had some good early runs against Judson the other day, but ultimately fell behind in all 3 sets and lost in straight sets to the Eagles. That was the conference opener for Roosevelt. St. Francis has played twice in conference already, and they won both matches. They defeated Indiana Northwest back on September the 1st, a week ago today. That was a 4-set victory for them, and then hosted a non-conference event here over the weekend. Had their first official home match on Tuesday as they returned to conference action, defeating Calumet in straight sets. They've played, this is their 6th straight game now in this arena, just officially their 2nd home match of the season. Again, that was a non-conference event held here last weekend. Yes, they were the home team, but considered more of a neutral site tournament. No question who the home team is here tonight, the Saints in brown. Henry sets up Marashiva, who can't keep it in bounds. Well, looked good for Roosevelt coming out of the timeout. They played that one well. Marashiva just couldn't sneak it inside the line. Pushed it a little bit too far towards the right. 3-point lead now for St. Francis. They've scored 5 in a row. Desiree Anderson lofts this one softly, played into the net by Blistrabas, and an ace for Anderson. She's won 5 consecutive points serving. It's a 6-0 run overall for St. Francis, who seems to have taken control of this first set. And they're trying to pull away here in the middle portion of it. Adams to the back line, tipped out of bounds by St. Francis. That's a point for Nicole Darren. The sophomore from Michigan got that point. First point of the night for Darren. Olivia Adams checks out as Victoria Marashiva goes back to serve. Marashiva, a sophomore outside hitter for the Roosevelt Lakers. And she serves it out of bounds. Marashiva off to a rocky start today. Again, 12 kills on Tuesday night. Today she's got already a couple of major errors on the last couple of chances. Hannah Monfrey takes her first serve, skims it off the top of the net, and that plays to her advantage. Blistrabas was thrown off a little bit as the ball was deflected off the net. Couldn't get a clean hit on it. And St. Francis extends their lead to 5 points. Henry sets a diving play by Monfrey off the hit from Kristen Norton, and the Saints are able to get it over. Chance for Darren is hit straight into the net. The lead is up to 6 for the Fighting Saints. Big early advantage for the hosts. They were down by as many as a couple of points early on. On several occasions, they trailed by 2. Out of bounds. Logan Cofield mishits the serve from Monfrey, and Monfrey picks up an ace. Saints have a few of those here in this first set. For Hannah Monfrey, that's number 10 this year. Henry for Cofield, blocked and down on the Saints side. Give credit to Logan Cofield for that point. Cofield entered play today averaging about 1.8 kills per set. The most on the Lakers. The Lakers' counting numbers are not as good as a lot of teams are going to be. Abby Lab sets for Oliveira, and Oliveira gets the kill. Roosevelt has lost in 3 straight sets in the majority of their matches this year. In fact, in 10 matches played, they've only got 35 total sets on the season. Another point for St. Francis is Roosevelt not able to return the serve. I misspoke earlier when I said that they had lost in straight sets 8 times. They've done so 7 times. They've lost in 5 twice and in 4 once. So they've only won 5 games this year. Can they return this serve? Doesn't look like it. Another point for St. Francis. Hannah Monfrey is on a roll. 18-9, and a timeout is called. Fighting Saints were down by a couple of points. They've turned that into a 9-point lead, and they are pulling away from Roosevelt here in set number 1. So again, Roosevelt has only won 5 sets in their 10 matches played this year. As a result, they don't have big numbers overall. Or maybe it's the other way around. They don't have a lot of wins because they don't have big numbers. But the point is, if you're only playing 3 sets a night, those numbers of kills, assists, blocks, digs, whatever you're counting, are not going to be very high. You can look at the per set numbers to get a better understanding of how they've performed. But as of right now, their record tells you how they've performed. It's been a disappointing start for a Roosevelt team that struggled the last couple of years as well. They have not won more than 1 conference game in a season since 2019. Off to a shaky start this season as well. Trying to turn things around. They got off to a good opening to today's match, but it has slipped very quickly away from them. Ashley Stilley, or Alyssa Stilley rather, puts that one over. Oliveira on the return, drops it inbound. Another kill for Gabriela Oliveira. St. Francis continues to pull away. Well, the point was given to Roosevelt there. Oliveira's hit did drop in bounds. I thought the initial point had been signaled to St. Francis, but there must have been a miss hit somewhere. So the run right now for the Fighting Saints is 13-3. But Roosevelt has the last point. Stephanie Woods trying to get it back for the Fighting Saints. It's blocked by the Lakers. It's Oliveira. Returned this time by Roosevelt. Tipped at the net. Here's Anderson for Oliveira. Lestrada steps up. Stephanie Woods taps it over the front line. Credit to Woods on that point. 19-10, St. Francis gets the serve back. Freshman Leah Talley comes back in. Tips, Sipple on her knees, able to keep that ball alive for Anderson. And Anderson somehow sneaks that one just over the head of Zoe Hutchinson. Hutchinson appeared to be in position, just a little bit late to react. And so the point goes to the Fighting Saints. They're now doubling up the Lakers. And they're just 5 away from taking a 1-0 lead. A little bit behind still, able to get a good hit on it anyway. Peyton Baird hits it across. Stilley drops it in bounds. Nice hit from the senior Alyssa Stilley. Roosevelt won't go down without a fight here. They bring Olivia Adams, the freshman from Florida, in to serve. Sipple, Baird. Adams keeps it in the air. And Marashiva smacks it into the net. Tough night so far for Victoria Marashiva. Transfer from Missouri. Well, the Saints will look to put it away over the next few points. Woods' serve is played by Blistrabas. Blocked out of bounds by the Saints. A point to Marashiva. Well, Marashiva's been struggling a little bit tonight, even if Roosevelt has fallen too far behind to make a comeback here, and they may not have just yet, but even if they have, good for Marashiva, for any of these Lakers, to build a little confidence going into the second game by making some good plays late. Miss hit by Roosevelt. Marashiva reached over the net. Kind of bailed out St. Francis there because that ball was slipping away from them. Sipple was just trying to keep it alive. And Marashiva reached over, hit it too early. So a break for the Fighting Saints. And now they need just 3 more points. Abby Labb does the serving. Henry out of bounds. Point to St. Francis. That's out of bounds on the serve from Labb. Marashiva let it go. It was close, but it proved to be the smart decision as it dropped just beyond the line. 13 serving 23. Henry's serve is a low line drive off the side of the arm of Leah Talley. And her miss hit gives the point to Roosevelt, a point to Jessa Henry, who will keep her serve alive. Down by just 9 now. Credit to the Lakers here. Another miss hit by Talley. And out of bounds. A near carbon copy of the last serve. Henry has sent in 2 low liners right at Talley. Both times Talley has gotten it off the side of her arm and deflected it out of bounds. Here's Anderson trying to end the brief Roosevelt run. She can't do it as her attack lands out of bounds. I was just about to say, give some credit to Roosevelt here for staying in this thing. St. Francis went on a 13-2 run right in the middle of this set. And other than that, Roosevelt's played really well. However, you can't go on a 2-13 run and expect to win. Still down big. Taylor Connolly to the back line. That's out of bounds. And now Kara Courier wants a timeout. Saints seem to be on cruise control heading to a victory just a few moments ago. And now all of a sudden, we've got a game here. Roosevelt trying to fight their way back. Started it off with a 7-5 lead, and then, as I was just saying, the Fighting Saints went on a 13-2 run. Since that point, though, Roosevelt has outscored St. Francis 8-5. Like I was just saying, you go on a run of 13-2 in a game, you expect to win it every time, and the Saints still are in pretty good position to win this thing over the next couple of minutes. But also when you go on that 13-2 run, you're hoping to finish it off with a double-digit victory. Roosevelt started strong. They're playing strong again right now. And if nothing else, maybe giving themselves some positive feelings heading into the next game. It's exactly what you want to avoid if you're the Fighting Saints right now. Maybe part of the reason that Kara Courier just called that timeout. Trying to get her team to put their foot down right now and put an end to this thing quickly. Henry's on a great run as server. Talley steps up to play this one. Lab for Anderson, and Anderson has to bump it over. Free ball for the Lakers. Not able to do much with it, though. Now a free chance for the Fighting Saints. Woodrich puts it down, but Henry gets the dig. And Henry hits it into the net. Sets up game point here for the Fighting Saints. They'll have as many as 7 of them in a row. And so they are back on track to put this thing away. The junior Desiree Anderson will get the serve. So the back line drifts into the net. Roosevelt has their third hit to get it over. Connolly for the win. Taps it softly. Henry picks it up. Marashiva tapped into the air by Oliveira. Here's Connolly with another chance. Right back to the Fighting Saints. Here's Oliveira. Can't get it over. So the Lakers stay alive to see at least one more point. And Victoria Marashiva goes back to serve. Monfrey to Lab, setting up Oliveira. And a good dig by Marashiva. Here's Cofield. Cofield, powerful kill. Roosevelt keeps on going strong. 10-6, they've outscored St. Francis over the last 16 points. Still a long way to go. It's the third consecutive set point for St. Francis. Monfrey slaps it over. Poked across by Roosevelt. Here's Lab setting it across the net. A diving play by Marashiva. Cofield blocked this time. Anderson for Oliveira, and Oliveira hits it into the net. The Saints just cannot put away the Lakers. And another timeout called by St. Francis. Fighting Saints led 23-13 a few moments ago. Just 2 points away from winning the first set. Since then, Roosevelt has put up 7 points. St. Francis has had to use both of their timeouts. And this first set of the night has turned into a much bigger struggle than it figured to be just about 10 minutes ago, when it seemed as though the Saints had essentially put it away already. Roosevelt has not been shooting themselves in the foot during this 7-1 run, that's for sure. There was a lot of that early. A lot of attacking errors on the Lakers. A few receiving errors as well. They've been playing very fundamentally sound over the last few minutes and forcing St. Francis to make a play. And during that time, the Saints haven't made any. You like to win that way. If you're going to finish a team off, you want to finish on a strong note, not just wait for the other team to make a mistake. See if the Saints can make the play here. Oliveira does just that. Gabrielle Oliveira puts it away out of the timeout. The Saints get their 25th point, and they defeat the Lakers 25-20 in the first set of this best-of-5 match. A good start for the Fighting Saints. Roosevelt showed a lot of grit late, but not quite enough to pull off a massive comeback. So St. Francis takes the early advantage. 1-0 our set lead so far. I'll take a break here. Back in just a few moments. We'll have set number 2 coming your way shortly. St. Francis on top by 1. Our score in the first set, St. Francis defeated Roosevelt. They'll play at least 2 more here as the Saints try to build on this lead. Second set coming up. 2 teams have flipped sides. Fighting Saints on the left now. The Lakers are on the right. Some stats from the first set. St. Francis was led by Desiree Anderson and Gabriela Oliveira, 3 kills each. Anderson led the team with 5 points. She had 2 aces to go along with her 3 kills. 4 points for Jessa Henry led Roosevelt. She had 2 kills and 2 aces. She also had 3 assists. Not the prettiest of sets. 2 teams combined for 17 kills and 15 errors on attacks in the first set. Roosevelt 7 attacking errors, 6 receiving errors, 3 service errors. So 12 of St. Francis's points came on those Roosevelt mistakes. The Fighting Saints were able to give Roosevelt some points right back. 8 attacking errors, 2 serving errors, and 2 receiving errors. So we'll see if the two teams have cleaned things up a little bit for game number 2. St. Francis, I'm sure, wasn't thrilled with the way that first one ended, but they were thrilled with the final score, and they're certainly thrilled with the start of game number 2 as Stephanie Woods picks up the kill. Woods' second kill of the night. Makes it 1-0 Fighting Saints. Kaylee Sipple gets the serve for the second straight time for St. Francis. Here's Cofield, tipped and out of bounds. Roosevelt gets their first point of the set. Both teams in the first set attacked at an 0.29 clip. So that's something they're certainly going to look to clean up here in game 2. So far, so good for St. Francis. Their first strike led to a point from Woods. This time it's Oliveira. A sliding play made to save it by Adams for Roosevelt. Woods, another chance, and Woods puts it down for her second kill of set 2. Slow start, slow finish in the first game for St. Francis. They were really strong in the middle, led them to the victory. They'd like to get off to a little bit of a faster start here in the second set. So far, so good. It's 3-1 on Henry's attacking error. She sent it too long and out of bounds. 3-1 the score. St. Francis led by as many as 11 in the first set. Brooke Williams gets her first hit of the game. Saints are able to return it. Marashiva returned by St. Francis again. Tapped over by Woods. Henry played on the other end by the Saints. Here's Anderson. That was tipped. And according to the line judge, it landed inbounds anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Point to St. Francis. Desiree Anderson now has 4 kills in the match. Anderson had 27 kills in a 5-set match when these two teams played each other at Roosevelt last year. Williams gets it out of bounds, but it was tipped. Or was it in? Either way, it's a point to Roosevelt. Snaps a 3-point run for the Fighting Saints. Yeah, it gives the serve to Rachel Stepanenko, who just checked in for the Lakers. Hit behind Desiree Anderson. Talley keeps it going, and Sipple hits it over. Blocked out of bounds by St. Francis. 2 in a row for Roosevelt. They're within 1 point. Another serve from Stepanenko. Hutchinson for Marashiva, and Victoria Marashiva picks up the point. 3 straight points for St. Francis are followed by 3 in a row for Roosevelt. 4-4 were tied. Anderson blocked. Henry on the block. It looked like Alyssa Stilley was up there with her. And Roosevelt has gone on a 4-0 run here. Say this for the Lakers, they've been competitive, not just tonight, but all season. But they shoot themselves in the foot a little bit too often. Stepanenko serves it out of bounds. They have been beaten in straight sets 7 times this year. They're 0-10 overall. But their average margin of defeat is not terrible. That's inbounds as it's tipped down by St. Francis, and Alyssa Stilley picks up the kill. And this has certainly become the trademark of today. Roosevelt has gone on some good runs early on. They've done it in back-to-back sets. Peyton Baird trying to get the tie back. Roosevelt is able to defend. Anderson into the net. Another unforced mistake by St. Francis. Both teams have committed a number of errors tonight, and Roosevelt has been the major beneficiary so far in this game. They're on a 6-1 run. Anderson hits it into the net. That was blocked by Roosevelt, but hit out of bounds by St. Francis. It's a 7-1 run for the Lakers. Asia Owens comes in for Desiree Anderson. It's the first Owens sighting of the night for the Fighting Saints. Biggest lead so far of the night for the Lakers, who had multiple two-point advantages in game one. Up by 3 now here in game 2, make it 4. Owens, who just checked in, mishits the serve from Henry. And Jessa Henry has now got 3 aces in the match. Henry entered tonight's action with a team leading 8 aces this year. Baird gets it over and returned out of bounds by Emily DeBleecourt. A much needed point for St. Francis. It snaps the 8-1 Roosevelt run. Still an 8-2 run for the Lakers, which is not too shabby. But the Saints have scored most recently. They'll try to make it 2 in a row on the serve from Abby Labb. Labb for Monfrey to the back line. Played by Lestrades, and St. Francis cannot return it on the block. Roosevelt looking sharp to begin this one. See if they can keep it up. Going back to last game when they trailed late by 10 points. They've outscored St. Francis 17-8. Connolly, that's a big one for the Fighting Saints. Taylor Connolly, excellent hit. Connolly has her first kill of the night, number 48 this season. Seven serving 10, and the junior Anderson is back in to serve. Monfrey to Labb, who sets up Monfrey once again. And Monfrey drops it in front of the diving Victoria Marashiva. For the first time in a little while, St. Francis is able to string a couple of points together. And now they're within only 2. Still early in the second set. Eleven-8 is our score. Now the big hit from Emily DeBleecourt. DeBleecourt is second on the team with 1.8 kills averaged per set. Second on the team with 54 overall as well. Quiet so far tonight, but picks up the point there. Roosevelt gets another point, this time on the miss hit from Cadence Woodrich. The lead is back up to 4 for Roosevelt, matching their game high. They were up 9-5, again at 10-6, and now it's 12-8. Lestrades gets the serve. Woodrich gets the return. Lestrades plays it for the Lakers. Here's Cofield. Anderson hits it over. Williams gets the point for Roosevelt. Their lead is now a game high 5 as they become the first team tonight to surpass the halfway threshold here in set 2. It's been a while since the Lakers have been able to win a set from anybody, but they are playing with a lot of confidence right now. Sipple for Oliveira, and Roosevelt will build that confidence even further, that confidence. Brooke Williams picks up the block. And St. Francis calls timeout. Williams is the team leader, 21 blocks overall this season coming in. She did not play in the first set, but she's played well here in the second. Big lead for the Lakers, 14-8. They've outscored St. Francis 13-4 since a hot start from the Fighting Saints. Talked about the first set, how St. Francis was outplayed early, they were outplayed late, but they went on a 13-2 run in the middle of it. And that was enough to carry them to a win. Well, Roosevelt's on a 13-4 run right now. Not quite as impressive as the St. Francis march in the first game, but will this be enough to guide them to a win? It certainly will if they continue to play the same way they've been playing. Very few mistakes made by the Lakers of late, and just an update to that number I gave before, and going back to late in the first set when it seemed as though St. Francis had it wrapped up. They were dominating proceedings. Since then, they've been outscored 21-10. So Roosevelt now has actually outscored St. Francis in the match 34-33. But they have not been able to prove consistently this year that they can keep it going for a full 25 points. We'll see if that changes today or if St. Francis has a run in them. Anderson gets it down in the corner. Nice hit from the back line from Desiree Anderson. And coming out of the timeout, the Saints get a much needed point. Here's Monfrey's serve. Tipped to the net by the Saints. Oliveira sets up Lab, who sets to Stephanie Woods, and Woods puts it in. 2 in a row for St. Francis. Stephanie Woods from Abby Lab that time. Woods has played well so far tonight. Into the net on the leaping attempt from Victoria Marashiva from the backside. That's exactly what we had not been seeing from Roosevelt since about midway through the first game. Those unforced mistakes. But a big one from Marashiva tightens it up considerably. Just a 3-point game now. Bleecourt has her hit returned. Another chance for Woods. Henry keeps it in the air for Roosevelt. Saints let it go, and good move. It's out of bounds. 4-0 run for Roosevelt is responded to with a 4-0 run for St. Francis, and now the Lakers need time to talk it over. Timeout called by Nicasio Paquis Jr. 14-12 our score. Roosevelt still has the lead, but not nearly as comfortable as it was just a few moments ago. St. Francis was able to go on a nice run out of their timeout, and now Paquis is trying to stop that run with his. Saints would just as soon see it continue. St. Francis 6-4 overall this season. They're 2-0 in conference and really had an opportunity to open up with a good conference record this week going up against Calumet St. Joe's and Roosevelt. These two over the last couple of seasons have been the bottom dwellers in the CCAC, but Calumet has looked much better to start this season compared to the way they've been in the recent past. And Roosevelt, so far this year, has not looked any better than they were a season ago, off to an 0-10 start, but today they have not looked like an 0-10 team, especially not in this second set. They are trailing in the match, though, 1-0. And St. Francis has made a run here in the second set to tighten things up. It's 12 serving 14. Hannah Monfrey's trying to pick up her fourth straight point, but she can't do it. She sends her serve out of bounds along the far sideline. And Roosevelt picks up that big point to move ahead by 3. Serve from Hutchinson is played by Anderson. It got away from her and dropped down by Logan Cofield. Anderson was not able to get the clean hit on it. And that allowed Cofield to pick up the easy point. Back-to-back points for Roosevelt. Trying to build that lead back up. It's been as high as 6 in this set. And now it's down to 3 on the serve out of bounds from Merashiva. That's one thing you hate when it seems like you're starting to seize momentum, and maybe you don't have it quite yet, but it's moving in that direction. To see a run end on a serve that way, it's always disappointing. Brooke Williams played across by Sipple to the back corner. And out of bounds on the strike from Logan Cofield. Again, it's a 2-point game. St. Francis has not been closer than 2 in a long time. Merashiva, played by Sipple. Oliveira gets it across for the Saints. Hutchinson for Williams, blocked, but the Saints can't get it over the net. So Brooke Williams cues one up for Roosevelt, and they keep that multi-point lead. Again, St. Francis has not been within 1 point since very early. I believe 5-4, or was it 6-5 the last time they were within 1? Regardless, it's been a while. Roosevelt keeps it that way, but it's a 2-point game again. That one way out of bounds on the serve from Olivia Adams. And another chance for the Fighting Saints to pull within a point. It might be the crucial threshold to get over. To get within 1. Might turn things around as a double hit from Zoe Hutchinson does indeed pull St. Francis to within 1. Let's see if that is that mental threshold. They can come back and tie it now. That'd be huge. They can't. Leah Talley hits it out of bounds. So it's tightened up. Roosevelt's in some trouble here, but they remain in the lead as they have throughout pretty much the entirety of this second set. They are 7 points away from knotting the match up at 1 win each. But another missed serve. This one from Stepanenko. And now the Lakers, every time they get the serve back, have been killing themselves with mistakes. Another chance for St. Francis to tie it up. We haven't been tied since 4. Sipple to Talley to Anderson into the net. We still haven't been tied since 4. Roosevelt inches ever closer to that second set victory. 19 serving 17 here. It's Jessa Henry. The pressure of the lead has been getting to the Lakers a little bit lately. A lot of serving errors. Not this time as Anderson plays it along the sideline. Tapped over by Monfrey. DeBlecourt blocked out of bounds. And the Lakers are just 5 points away. Here's Henry's serve, and this time it is out of bounds. Well, if Roosevelt is not able to hang on and win this one, that'll be the reason why. Their inability to get those serves in bounds. Even the previous one from Henry was right on the border. Anderson decided to play it, but it was right along that sideline. If he had let it go, it would have been very close. Serve from Lab. And a point to St. Francis on the illegal hit from Roosevelt. A lot of mistakes made by the Lakers late here. Double touch that time. And again, St. Francis has an opportunity to tie it. Roosevelt has buckled down every time we've gotten to this point so far. Tipped at the net. The Lakers keep it going. Here's DeBlecourt. And DeBlecourt picks up the kill. Despite all the mistakes, the Lakers have stepped up and made big plays when they've needed to. St. Francis is trying to do the same late here. Marashiva's serve, played on the back line by Talley. Woodrich hits it over. Roosevelt able to return. Lab for Anderson. Anderson's ball is tipped at the net and kept alive. And a point to Cofield. Logan Cofield gets it off the hand of Taylor Connolly and out of bounds. Roosevelt's lead is back to 3. This point would be a backbreaker if they can get it. Talley for Connolly, blocked, right back to Woodrich. There's Monfrey coming in from the back line and dropping it in the midst of 4 Lakers. A miscommunication there on Roosevelt's part. And Cadence Woodrich gets a huge point for St. Francis. That was probably the biggest point of the set so far. Now Anderson gets the serve. Cofield tipped, and a Roosevelt point. Roosevelt can put themselves in a set point situation with this serve right here. Viva Blestrabis sends it into the net. Another serving mistake committed by Roosevelt. The Saints are still alive. But can they go on a run? They've not been able to do so yet. Every time they start to take momentum, Roosevelt has made a play. Free chance here for St. Francis. Woods to the back. Diving play by Marashiva and out of bounds. And now, with the game on the line, St. Francis is again back to within 1. They've been here so many times before, just have not been able to get over the hump and tie the score up. Blocked by Woods. Roosevelt plays it. Here's Cofield into the net. And that was not touched by St. Francis. Straight into the net. So that's 4 hits for Roosevelt, and we're tied at 23. First time since 4-4, we're tied. St. Francis has roared back from a 6-point deficit. And they have chipped and chipped and chipped away, and finally with a 3-point run here late, they've evened things up. And now both teams are just 2 points away from a win, and the Lakers use their final time out of the set. High drama here in Joliet tonight. Each of these first 2 sets has been tight. First one didn't seem like it was going to be. St. Francis had a 23-13 lead at one point, and Roosevelt then went on a 7-0 run and made a game out of it, but St. Francis was able to finish them off. Here in game 2, the Lakers have led pretty much the entire way. But do they have it in them to finish and get these final 2 points? It's been a struggle for them. It's been a long time since they've won a set. St. Francis is trying to win their 5th in a row going back to Tuesday night. 1st to 2 here. Lab sets for Woods, tipped at the net. Played on the back line by Marashiva. Here's Williams. Good defensive play by Anderson. Oliveira to the back line. Diving play. Marashiva keeps it in the air. Free ball for St. Francis. Monfrey to Lab for Woods. Woods taps it across. Here's Cofield. Good volley going here. Probably our best rally of the night. Oliveira gets it inside the line, and the Saints are within 1 of the victory. First lead for St. Francis since they were up 4-3. 40 points later, here we are, 24-23. And now St. Francis can end this on a 5-0 run. Monfrey's serve is away. Another chance for Oliveira, and this time she finishes. Oliveira tried to put it down to wrap it up, but Lestrabas was able to return it. Second chance for Oliveira. She found the soft spot on the defense. And St. Francis, who trailed that entire set, finished up on a 5-0 run. A devastating loss for Roosevelt there after it looked like they were on their way to their first set victory of the conference season. Instead, it's 2-0. St. Francis has the lead, 25-20, 25-23, our scores thus far. And they've got another chance coming in just a few moments. Set number 3 on its way shortly. I'll take a quick break and be back in a few moments with the third and potentially decisive set. St. Francis leads 2-0. Wild night of volleyball so far. St. Francis leads Roosevelt 2 wins to none so far, meaning the Fighting Saints are just 1 away from wrapping this thing up and going home with a straight sets victory, just as they did Tuesday night against Calumet St. Joseph. Roosevelt 0-10 so far this season. Majority of those 10 losses have been 3-set defeats. They appeared to be on their way to knotting this thing up 1-1 just moments ago, but it did not work out that way. After leading pretty much the entire set, at one point by as many as 6, and late in the set by a 23-20 count, they saw St. Francis step up, make some big plays, and finish that set on a 5-0 run, which gave the Fighting Saints their second straight victory in this match. So here we go with the third set. Hutchinson ready to serve for Roosevelt. Hutchinson sets for Henry. And a point to Roosevelt to start this one off. The Lakers kept it close against Judson on Tuesday. They've done the same today, but they're still 0-5 in the two matches. Miss hit by St. Francis there. That makes it 2-0 Roosevelt. Hutchinson's off to a good run for the Lakers. His lab for Anderson. Hutchinson sets behind her. Henry somehow gets it over. Tough angle, but she was able to do it. Anderson tipped. Cofield, good positioning, and Logan Cofield's able to finish it off. 7th kill of the night for Logan Cofield, who leads the Lakers. Prior to that kill, Jessa Henry had a team leading 6.5 points. Saints are led through 2 sets by Desiree Anderson with 7 points. She, Stephanie Woods, and Gabriela Oliveira are all tied for the team lead with 5 kills on the night. Hannah Pacheco just in for the first time. Can't help her team on this one as they hit it 4 times before getting it over. Roosevelt shows that they are not shaken by the way that second game ended. After dropping the final 5 points of set 2, they've started the third one out with 4 straight of their own. Pacheco hits it over. Good recovery by Cofield. Cofield for the point. Drops it inside the line. 5-0 Roosevelt. The Lakers are down 2-0 in this match, but for large stretches of really all 3 games, they've looked like the better team. Been a little bit inconsistent for St. Francis tonight. Now it's 6-0. Cofield cleans up off the miss hit from the Fighting Saints. Despite leading the match 2-0, Fighting Saints have only outscored the Lakers by 1 total point in 3 sets tonight. And that's out of bounds. And that's been the saving grace for the Fighting Saints. That is the 10th error on a serve tonight for Roosevelt. 28 total errors in this match for Roosevelt. Pacheco for Oliveira. Here's Hutchinson. Henry is blocked. That's Oliveira on the block along with Cadence Woodrich. First block of the night for the Fighting Saints. And they are within 4. 6-point lead for Roosevelt. Matched their largest of the night. They were up 14-8 in the last set. And took a 6-0 lead here, but it's down to 4. Cofield tries to increase it back to 5, but Monfrey's able to play it for St. Francis. Cofield out of bounds. Three in a row for St. Francis. We're trading streaks here. St. Francis scored 5 in a row to end the last set. Roosevelt started this one with 6 in a row. Saints with 3 straight since then. Henry, played by Anderson, high into the air, does not hit the ceiling. Hutchinson for Williams, forces it to the back corner and in. 4th kill of the night for Brooke Williams, who has arguably been the best offensive player, certainly the most efficient of the night for Roosevelt. She's got 4 kills on just 7 attempts. Well, Emily DeBleecourt actually has the exact same number, 4 kills on 7 attempts. So I guess they're tied for the most efficiency. Hutchinson for Henry, but a double touch, I think, on Hutchinson there. So after a shaky start for St. Francis, they've evened things out. And that's the way things have gone tonight, and that's why They've got the 2-0 lead in the match. Even though Roosevelt has looked great at times, the Saints have always been able to right the ship when they've needed to. Anderson sets up Connolly. Williams is able to punch it back over. Oliveira drops it just in front of Adams. And Gabriela Oliveira has her 6th kill of the match. Oliveira entered play today, averaging better than 2.3 kills per set, 2nd on the team. Only Desiree Anderson has more. Good defense from Anderson there. And Stephanie Woods taps it over. Her first point of the 3rd set. Woods has 6 kills of the night. And she has unquestionably been the best offensive player for the Saints in this match. Just one attacking error for Woods. That's out of bounds. The attack goes awry for Roosevelt. And we're tied 7-7. St. Francis has gone on a 7-1 run. In all 3 games, Roosevelt has started strong. And in each of the first 2, the Saints were able to fight back. Now they've done so in the 3rd as well, as Woods comes through at the net. 8-7 St. Francis, their first lead of this 3rd game. Let's see if the Saints are able to turn things around fully a little bit earlier this time than they did the last 2. Another block at the net, and Roosevelt is not able to return it. St. Francis dominant at the net over the last few points. They are on a 9-1 run. Cofield out of bounds. Few shoulders being shrugged on the Lakers side. They thought that one dropped inside the line. It did not, according to the line judge. He's right on top of it. 3-point lead for St. Francis. Make it 2. Monfrey serves it away there. Serving errors have been a theme during today's match, more so on the other side than on the Saints side. That's their 5th of the night, and that one can be excused. When you go on a run like the Saints just did, it's bound to end at some point. That snaps a 10-1 St. Francis run. They had scored 6 in a row, but now Roosevelt gets one back and gives one back. 11-8 St. Francis leads. Saints went on a 13-2 run in the first game. They're nearing that mark here in game 3. Blocked but kept alive by Roosevelt. Henry has it tipped. Sipple sets up Peyton Baird. Baird taps it over again, but pushed right back to the other side by Marashiva. Point to Victoria Marashiva. Roosevelt's hanging around. After leading 6-0, they found themselves behind by 3. Now 9 serving 11. Sipple for Woods. That's hit out of bounds by Roosevelt. Olivia Adams unable to get a clean touch on that ball. The serve goes back to our right side, and St. Francis, Leah Talley, will do the honors. That's into the net. Roosevelt's able to get it across. Sipple sets up Anderson, and Anderson has it turned back the other way. Point to Roosevelt. Marashiva, the sophomore, has been all over the country. Originally from New Jersey, Went to Missouri as a freshman, now schooling in downtown Chicago. Out of bounds on the push from Logan Cofield. Serve belongs to St. Francis. First timeout called. That's good. I don't have any travel stories about the Fighting Saints. Most of them are from the area. In fact, only 2 players on the St. Francis roster are from outside the state of Illinois. Hannah Monfrey, who's right nearby in Franklin, Wisconsin, and then Aaliyah Montgomery, who we have not seen tonight. She's appeared in only 8 out of 43 sets this year for St. Francis. Montgomery comes in from Tallahassee, Florida. St. Francis more than halfway to a 3rd set victory. They lead Roosevelt 13-10. If you missed the early sets, the first one went to the Fighting Saints after they built a big lead and appeared to be cruising to a blowout victory. Roosevelt went on a big run late. They made it close. The Saints fought them off. However, Roosevelt used that big late run to carry some momentum over to game 2. They led just about start to finish. The only times, in fact, that they didn't lead were at the start and finish. St. Francis scored the first few, and they scored the last 5, turning a 23-20 deficit into a 25-23 win. Roosevelt here in the 3rd set jumped out to a 6-0 lead. It's been all Saints ever since. They try to put away their conference rivals, and they got a little boost from that ace from Stephanie Woods. The Lakers let it go. They shouldn't have. It drops just short of that back line. St. Francis 14, Roosevelt 10. Off the side of the hand of Stephanie Woods that time. Logan Cofield gets the point. Cofield's played well tonight. She brings the serve back to her team. Veva Blestrabas sends it away. Peyton Baird played on the other end by a diving Marashiva. Here's Tally for Anderson. Blocked by the Saints. And Roosevelt can't get it back over. St. Francis point. They match their biggest lead of the game at 15-11. Serve from Abby Labb, drops in front of the back line of Roosevelt. Marashiva and Cofield were both there. They both started to go for it and then kind of both backed off. I think more of a miscommunication than anything else. I think either one of them could have played that ball. Hit into the net. Emily DeBlecourt is all right. She took kind of an awkward fall after her miss-hit, but she's fine. The score for Roosevelt is not. After that attacking error, it's now a 6-point lead for St. Francis, and again, in position to pull away here. After a big early deficit, they have outscored Roosevelt 17-5. 18-5 on the double hit. Timeout called by the Lakers. This is their final timeout, and potentially their final timeout of the match if they can't turn things around here, because St. Francis is 7 points away from wrapping up this victory. Roosevelt is 7 points away from tying the score. So they've got some trouble in front of them. St. Francis seems to have brought it all together at the right time here. Now it's not over. We saw what happened in the first game when the Saints had a big lead like this and nearly lost it, but seems like St. Francis has been kind of turning it on and off all night, but it's been on for a long time now. 18-5, they've outscored Roosevelt since a shaky start to this third game. And right now, the Saints are hitting on all cylinders. Talley, Woodrich, Anderson, Connolly, Monfrey, and Labb are out there for the Fighting Saints, with Labb doing the serving. Here's the serve from Lab. Just missed the line. Very close, but she could not get it in.
You're still down 6, bud.
And so Roosevelt gets the serve back, trailing 18-12. But trying to capture some momentum with the point out of the timeout. Anderson played on the other end by Marashiva. Cofield tries for the point. St. Francis keeps it alive. Here's Anderson again. And Anderson gets the kill. Here's Desiree Anderson's serve. Cofield hits it into the net. So St. Francis's lead is up to 8. This is their biggest of this set. They've led by as many as 11 in the match. That was back in the first set. Henry to the back line and Monfrey. Here's Lab setting up Oliveira, blocked out of bounds. That's a point for Gabriela Oliveira and the Fighting Saints. The lead is not yet insurmountable, but it's getting there. They've now outscored Roosevelt 21-6 since the big start for the Lakers. Hutchinson for Williams. Monfrey there to play it for the Saints. Oliveira doesn't count that hit. The one before it was the two-timer. So a miss hit by St. Francis gives the serve back to Roosevelt, keeps them alive in this match. Still got a lot of work to do though. Olivia Adams goes back to serve. Adams, a freshman from Tampa, Florida, gets it off with the right hand. Point St. Francis. That's Taylor Connolly picking up the kill. And right now the Fighting Saints are just not letting Roosevelt get on any kind of run. Every time the Lakers have gotten a point, the Saints have been taking it right back. Ace for Hannah Monfrey. Dropped right into the middle of the floor, and now St. Francis is just 2 points away. Roosevelt's bench trying to keep them in it. Stephanie Woods hits it up to Gabriela Oliveira, blocked by Williams. Big block, Brooke Williams. Jessa Henry was up at the net as well. Deficit is back to single digits for Roosevelt, but they need to go on a big run now. Even bigger than the one that started off this set when they led 6-0. All St. Francis since then. Returned by Stephanie Woods off the serve from Stepanenko, and that sets up match point for the Fighting Saints. They will get as many as 10 of these. I think they just as soon put it away in one. Kaylee Sipple will try to take the final serve of the match. Sipple gets it away. Cofield tapped back the other direction by Peyton Baird. Here's Marashiva, blocked. Roosevelt keeps it going. Chance for Henry. Tapped over the blockers into the net. Saints have one more hit and they get it over. Henry. Sliding play made by Sipple. Another chance for the win. Peyton Baird finishes it off. In 3 sets, St. Francis defeats Roosevelt tonight 25-20, 25-23, and then most decisively in the finale, 25-14, our final score here in set number 3. A good win for St. Francis. It was iffy at times, especially in that second set, But they were able to storm back and take that one. And then a dominant victory in the third. Roosevelt jumped out to a 6-0 lead. St. Francis outscored them from that point on 25-8. It was really never close after that hot start from Roosevelt. Fighting Saints took over. They never looked back. So a big win for the Fighting Saints tonight because they improved to 3-0 in CCAC play with wins over Indiana Northwest and now in back-to-back matches, straight set wins over Calumet College of St. Joseph and Roosevelt University today. So they are winners in 6 consecutive sets. Their last 3 wins have all been just 3-set matches. They started the season 4-1. They lost 3 out of 4, but now back to 2 in a row on the plus side. And most importantly, those 2 wins are both in conference play. So they improved to 7-4 overall, 3-0 in the CCAC. They'll take another break from conference action this weekend. They'll play in a non-conference event before returning to CCAC play next week. Roosevelt falls to 0-11 on the season, and they drop to 0-2 in conference play. Our final stats from tonight: Stephanie Woods, the leading offensive player for St. Francis. She finished with 8 kills, 9.5 total points for Stephanie Woods, a .286 attacking percentage. 7 kills for Oliveira, 6 for Desiree Anderson. Peyton Baird had just 2 tonight, but she had the game winner in the final set. For Roosevelt, Logan Cofield led all players with 10 kills. She also led all players on both teams with 10 total points in today's match. Again, St. Francis comes away with the victory. Our final scores tonight: 25-20, 25-23 in the second set, and then 25-14 in the finale. St. Francis on the road this weekend, so they will return home next week. Their next match here at the Sullivan Center is not coming up for a little while yet. It'll be 4 straight on the road for the Fighting Saints in Indiana this weekend. We'll have all of our home broadcasts for you right here through GoFightingSaints.com. You can follow along with the entire home schedule. 3-set victory for St. Francis tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves in what turned out to be a relatively quick victory for St. Francis, just the way that they like it. We'll talk to you again next time. 25-20, 25-23, 25-14, our finals tonight. Terry Bonadonna signing off here from Joliet, Illinois. Talk to you next time.